Okay, cured overnight, or actually a little bit more than 24 hours. Bead is looking good. I mean, got plenty. So I'm going to start by putting the spoiler back on and then the trim. Again, note that I'll have to either use a awl or a drill bit to take that excess out of those screw holes. So as you're putting the spoiler on, you've got to sandwich in that seal that is trapped between the frame and the spoiler, and you also have to kind of pull on it to stretch it. So what I'm doing is starting at one end, and it's got that little odd metal tab, which I guess helped in the manufacturing process so that rubber wouldn't break as they were pulling on it. And then I'm just going to keep tucking it and screwing the spoiler on, just kind of leaving it loose as I go to keep tucking, something like that. That required a lot of trial and error. And the sealant in the middle was still a little gooey, so you're dragging that sealant down in there with those screws, which happened at the factory also, because that's the reason the screws are so hard to get out to begin with. Also, if you remember, I had to drill out 3, so the best thing I could find at the hardware store were those cap's head screws, which they're not super flush. The ones that have to be flush, however, are right beside where the pins go, because if you remember, that block straddles that has to be flush there, and then this one here with the tab on it. So if you can salvage 4 of those pan heads, you're in pretty good shape. Another note, these guys at the very end, they're smaller, and you have another small one that goes there on the side trim. And those are 2 different lengths. I've got the long one in there for now. I'm not sure if the long one goes here or goes here, but we will find out in just a minute when I start to put that trim on, because if that next one doesn't reach, I've got to swap those. The side trim is on, and of course I lost one of those weird slotted round, actually lost 2 of them. But you can use a regular nut, hex. It's just hard to tighten because of the contour there. And so that's on. Next thing, I'm going to put the 3rd brake light back on and then flip it over. And last thing will be the clip-on top trim. That top trim actually slides under the side trim, so if you just loosen up the side trim, the last nut, and sneak that underneath, once it gets started, goes pretty well. I'll show you the underside of this, how the tabs go over the frame and everything, but you can see I've got quite a bit of cleanup up here. I got to figure out a way to kind of define that as far as where the edge of the glass is, so I don't actually cut into the seal. I want a little bit of overlap there, but I definitely want to make it look better. So some kind of straight edge or something there while I'm using my razor probably be the way to go. And yeah, I got to flip this thing over because I forgot to put the pins back on. The latching pins. All right, the latching pins are on, and here's the deal with that top trim. Just has a tab right there. Once you slide that on either end, it's just a matter of getting these tabs to straddle the frame, get it all lined up, and then start tapping it on with a rubber mallet. That's the reason I didn't worry about touching that piece of trim up with paint, because I figured I was going to have to beat on it a little and twist it some. I may do that. I know it's got some areas where the paint is starting to come off. So I think that's going to do it for this hatch project. I'll probably just stick this on the back of the parts car for storage and wait until the one that I put on the nice turbo car starts to leak, and then fix it too. So there's always something going on here. Thanks for watching, and comment or ask questions if you got any.